I checked the spot price before I even got out of bed, $58. I stared at that number for a full minute because for the first time in months it felt reachable. Not 70, not 80, 58. I wrote it on a sticky note. I even took a screenshot with the timestamp because something in my gut told me I was going to need proof of what I saw before this day was over. You have to understand something about spot price. It is not a promise. It is not a guarantee. It is a number generated by massive 5,000-ounce contracts, traded electronically between institutions that will never once touch a physical bar or coin. It is the price of silver on paper. What I was about to do had nothing to do with paper. I was going to walk into a real dealer, put real cash on a real counter, and ask for 1 single ounce. The most basic transaction any precious metals investor can make. I walked in with confidence. Too much confidence looking back. I had the number memorized, 58, and I said it out loud like it meant something. The man behind the counter didn't even flinch. He typed a few numbers into his terminal, turned the screen toward me, and there it was. Not 58, not 60. A number that was nearly double what I had written on my sticky note 20 minutes earlier. I asked him to explain it. And what he told me, calmly, like this was the most normal thing in the world, is the exact reason I'm making this video right now. He said 3 words: premium over spot. And then he kept talking like I already understood what that meant. I didn't. Not really. Not the way I do now. Because what he described next wasn't a small markup. It wasn't a rounding error. It was a structural gap between the number flashing on every financial app in the world and the number that actually leaves your wallet when you try to hold silver in your hand. Here's what nobody tells you when you start watching silver charts. The price you see, the one everyone screenshots, the one every app pushes as a notification. That price assumes something most people never think about. It assumes unlimited, instant, frictionless supply. It assumes that whatever you want to buy is just sitting there, waiting. But physical silver doesn't work that way. It has to be minted, shipped, insured, stored, and sold by a human being standing behind a counter who has bills to pay. Every single one of those steps adds a number on top of that clean, shiny spot price you saw this morning. And when demand spikes, when enough people start asking for the same thing at the same time, that gap doesn't just widen a little, it can explode. I watched it happen at that counter in real time, standing 3 feet away from a display case full of the exact metal I came to buy. I left that dealer without buying anything, not because I didn't want silver anymore, because I needed to understand exactly what had just happened to me before I spent another dollar. So I spent the rest of that day making calls, checking other dealers, digging through pricing sheets that most investors never bother to read. What I found changed how I think about buying silver completely. And it's not something any spot price chart is ever going to show you. That night, I pulled up every research report I could find on silver premiums, because I needed to know if what happened to me was normal, or if I had just gotten unlucky with one dealer having a bad day. What I found was bigger than one bad day. It was bigger than one dealer. Analysts at JP Morgan have been tracking silver's supply tightness for months, and their research points to something most retail buyers never see coming: a structural deficit between how much physical silver the world actually produces and how much investors and industries are trying to pull off the shelves at the same time. When that gap widens, it doesn't show up on your phone's price app. It shows up at the counter, the way it showed up for me. Macquarie's commodity strategists put it even more plainly in their recent notes. They've described this exact moment as bullish investor sentiment colliding head-on with tight supply and genuinely low inventories. And they warned that this exact combination is what makes silver prices swing far more violently than people expect, in both directions. Read that twice, not just tight supply. Tight supply meeting a wave of buyers who all show up at the same counter at the same time, asking for the same thing I was asking for. Here's the part that really stopped me. I went back and checked how the gold to silver ratio had been behaving. That's simply how many ounces of silver it takes to equal the value of 1 ounce of gold. Right now, that ratio is sitting in the high 60s. Historically, when that ratio moves the way it's been moving, it tends to signal one thing: silver is being treated as undervalued relative to gold, which means demand pressure builds quietly before it ever explodes publicly. And when demand pressure builds quietly, premiums are usually the very first place it leaks out. Before the headlines, before the price charts catch up. At the counter, with a real customer holding real cash. So I started calling around. Not just one dealer this time. 5 of them in different parts of the country, all on the same day, all asking for the exact same 1 ounce silver piece. I wrote every single quote down, time-stamped, no rounding. And the spread between the lowest quote and the highest quote wasn't small. It wasn't a few dollars of shop around and save. It was enough of a gap that if you didn't know to check, you could end up paying dramatically more than the person who bought the exact same ounce an hour earlier from a dealer 3 miles away. That's when it hit me. Most people lose money on silver not because the metal underperforms. They lose money, real, avoidable money, because they never learn how premiums actually work before they walk in the door. They see $58 on their phone. They assume that's what they'll pay, and they get blindsided exactly the way I did that morning. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because premiums aren't fixed. They move. They spike around certain events. They compress around others. And if you know what triggers each one, you can time your purchase to avoid paying the inflated number entirely. I didn't know any of that walking into that first dealer. By the end of that day, I had a notebook full of patterns that I had never once seen mentioned on any silver channel, any forum, any comment section. And the very first pattern I found explained exactly why that first dealer quoted me the number he did. 5 dealers, 5 quotes. Same day, same product, same exact 1 ounce piece of silver. When I laid the numbers side by side that night, I realized I had accidentally built something most investors never bother to build. A real map of what silver premiums actually look like when nobody's watching. The gap between the cheapest quote and the most expensive one wasn't a coincidence. It followed a pattern. The lowest quotes came from sellers who moved high volume and had lean overhead. The highest quotes came from the kind of counter I walked into that morning. Low foot traffic, immediate delivery, someone standing right there ready to hand you a coin the moment you paid. That convenience has a price tag, and most people never realize they're paying for the convenience itself, not just the metal. But premiums aren't the only piece of this puzzle. The deeper I dug, the more I understood that premiums move for a reason, and that reason is almost always the same one driving the price itself. Analysts who track this market for a living keep circling back to one number, the gold to silver ratio. This is simply how many ounces of silver it takes to equal 1 ounce of gold. Right now, that ratio sits in the high 60s. Historically, the 50-year average sits somewhere between 65 and 70 to 1. When the ratio drops below 60, research from precious metals analysts shows silver has historically outperformed outright. When it climbs above 80, it's flagged as severely undervalued by historical standards. The kind of gap that tends to close eventually, and when it closes, it tends to close fast. Here's where the predictions get bold. Using the current gold price as a baseline, analysts have laid out a simple structural argument. If the ratio compresses to 60 to 1, a level we've been sitting close to, silver mathematically implies a price in the low 70s. If it compresses further to 55 to 1, a level reached multiple times in prior bull cycles, silver implies a price closer to $80 an ounce. That's not speculation pulled from thin air. That's just what the ratio math says happens if history repeats the pattern it's repeated before. And this is exactly why my 5 phone calls mattered so much. Because when a ratio like that starts compressing, dealers see it before the headlines catch up. Inventory gets tighter. Premiums creep upward first, quietly at the counter, before the spot price chart ever moves. That's the trap. Not a scam, not a conspiracy, just a structural lag between what institutions are pricing on paper and what a real human being behind a real counter has to charge to keep product on the shelf. One research note that stuck with me summed up the entire situation in a single sentence. Wider spreads, signal market stress, and higher transaction costs, not lower demand. Read that again. Wider gaps between what you pay and what you'd get back if you sold. That's not silver becoming less desirable. That's the exact opposite. It's a signal that too many people want the same thing at the same time, and the physical pipeline simply can't keep up. I kept thinking about that dealer's face when he quoted me that number. He wasn't trying to trick me. He was reacting to something real happening underneath the surface of this market, something that hadn't hit the mainstream financial headlines yet, but was already showing up, quote by quote, dealer by dealer, exactly where I was standing. Which brings me to the part of this story that actually changed how I buy silver going forward. Because once I understood why the trap exists, I found a way to walk straight around it. Here's what changed everything for me. Once I understood that premiums move with supply stress, not just spot price, I stopped treating every dealer, quote, as a fixed, unquestionable number. I started treating it as information. Because a premium isn't just a markup. It's a live signal, straight from the physical market, telling you exactly how tight things really are underneath that clean spot price on your screen. So here's what I actually did differently on my second attempt. I stopped walking into the first dealer I saw with cash in hand and blind confidence. I called ahead. I asked directly, what's your premium over spot on a plain 1 ounce round today? No collector markup, no rare mint mark. Most dealers will tell you straight if you simply ask the right question instead of just accepting whatever number pops up on the register. That single habit alone closed most of the gap I got blindsided by that first morning. I also learned something that never once showed up in any spot price app I'd used before. Bulk changes everything. A single ounce carries the highest premium percentage almost every single time because the dealer's fixed costs get spread across just one unit. The moment you move toward 5 or 10 ounces, that per ounce premium starts shrinking fast. That's not a secret. It's just something nobody explains to you the first time you walk into a shop with $58 memorized and a plan for exactly one coin. And then there's timing, which turned out to matter more than I ever expected. Premiums compress and expand around specific stress points in the market, inventory drawdowns, sudden spikes in demand, days when everyone online is reading the same headline at the same time and rushing toward the same counters. Research tracking global vault inventories has pointed to the same conclusion again and again. Watch physical stock levels, not just the price chart, because lease rate spikes and tightening registered inventory carry more real weight than any single policy statement. That's the physical market talking directly, underneath all the noise. Institutional voices have been circling this exact tension for months. Analysts covering the gold to silver ratio have laid out the math plainly. Compression toward historical bull cycle levels implies meaningfully higher silver prices from here, purely on ratio logic, independent of any single headline or forecast. Whether that plays out on the timeline anyone expects is impossible to know for certain. But the structural argument behind it isn't hype. It's the same math that's been quietly playing out at dealer counters for months, one quote at a time, exactly the way it played out for me. So when I went back for round 2, cash in hand again, I wasn't the same buyer who walked in blind that first morning. I called ahead, I asked about volume pricing, I compared premiums the same way I'd compare a price on anything else I was about to spend real money on. And the number I walked out with that second time was nowhere close to the number that shocked me the first time around. That's the entire point of this video. Spot price is real. It's not fake and it's not a lie. But it's only half the story. The other half lives at the counter, in the premium, in the questions most people never think to ask before they hand over their cash. If you're buying silver, even 1 ounce, even just to start, understand the premium before you understand anything else. That gap is where most people quietly lose money without ever realizing it happened. Invest with logic, not hype. OG out.